Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.
Conor, how have the last couple of days been? What's the reaction been like amongst your group following that defeat?
Obviously, a lot of disappointment with the game and how it panned out. So, but I think from that, people have been in this situation before, and you've got to quickly move on and look forward to the next game, and that's Carlisle.
Before we look at that one, can we talk about a couple of the incidents in that game down at Newport? Firstly, the first goal for Newport, I should say, in Cardiff, shouldn't I? Have you seen it back now and seen that free kick incident? I know Mark wasn't very happy after the game, but hadn't fully seen it back. So what do you make to it now? You have probably had a look.
I think it shows everything quite clear, really. You probably don't need me to comment and tell you what you saw, like everybody else, where there was not much contact and it looked like he sort of had a brush on his shoulder and went down and sort of miskicked the ball and he's given the foul. So not nice, because obviously it leads to the goal and it's a great free kick, but it shouldn't have been a free kick, that's for sure.
How infuriating is that? Not obviously looking to criticise the referee and officials and all that sort of stuff. These things do happen, don't they, at times? But how infuriating when it does lead to such a pivotal moment in the game?
Yeah, it's so frustrating because, if that doesn't happen, then potentially the penalty incident doesn't happen, because, in seconds the game can flip on its head. So, again, it was just really frustrating that the game was sort of put into the hands of the referee, and it sort of went sour for our team and our club, and, we're just looking to respond as well as we can.
How's Levi been the last couple of days?
Obviously, Levi is, he felt like he let the team down because of what happened, and the guys worked so hard, and so did Levi, and Levi's been superb for us so far, and it's just one that he's got to quickly learn from and move on from, and I'm sure he'll never get himself in that position again, and that's what it's about, learning from your mistakes.
We spoke to Paddy O'Connor about a bit of the reaction, the social media reaction in particular. A lot of it's obviously been critical and a lot of it extremely over the top. There's also been quite a lot of support there for him as well. What's your reaction when you see and hear that sort of input that you get after a decision like that?
Yeah, it's fantastic that probably most of the fans, I've not seen much of it or anything, but I imagine the fans will be right behind him and letting him know how good he's been for the 16 games, and not to let a second in a game sort of determine what he is like as a player. It's a mistake, we all make them, we're all humans. Humans play the game, and we've got to accept that. Sometimes we may have rode our luck in certain games, and and we've been punished in this one.
And the team and the players all rally around as well, don't they, in situations like that? I guess, is that one of the big strengths that you've got in this group at the moment, that unity that you sort of have?
Yeah, you've got everybody's a good person and works hard for the cause, and it shows, when you watch our team, you can see that everybody's, going to work and fight and go to the last minute, and we proved that in the Bolton game where we score in the dying seconds. So disappointing for everybody, but I think this group of players just want to put it right against Carlisle.
This is the test now then, isn't it? How you bounce back from something like that, how you have that mental resolve to go and start another run like the previous one you've been on.
Yeah, and we can, take confidence from the Exeter situation, but again, we're not going to just say that if we lose, we go on unbeaten runs, because football's not like that. We've got to regroup and refocus and make sure that we go into the game fully focused to go and get the result, and it's important that we bounce back.
How do you refocus them? What do you say to them? Give us a bit of an insight into what you say to that group to try and put that one behind you and move on to the next.
Well, I think it's the hard work that they've got themselves into this situation, and just reinforcing those messages about the mental resilience and not giving in and working together and being a collective unit. And that's just the same messages that we always give, irrelevant of the game outcome and the result. So we just work even harder. That's I think it adds motivation to what you do when you lose a game. It just highlights things that you can get better as well, and we're looking forward to becoming better and being a better team.
And have you seen that in them this morning then, in training this morning, that not extra desire, but, that ability, that will to want to put in that little bit extra to get the result?
Yeah, the guys they've got terrific character, and they'll go out there and they'll perform to their best. But, people make mistakes, and, as managers, we've just got to accept that people make mistakes as long as the people learn from them and they're giving 100%.
How much do you have a difficult balance at the moment of making sure you're keeping some fresh legs? Callum Cook obviously not involved for you the other night. You need to do some rotation when the games are so thick and fast, don't you? So how difficult a balance is that to keep continuity but also make sure you're not overloading? Yeah,
it's a part of it. We knew it was going to happen where we had to rotate, but again, the confidence in the squad and the depth is there, and it's key for us. On the Cookie situation, on Callum, sort of had a little bit of tightness in the warm-up, which meant that we didn't want to risk him in the game. So that was kind of that. We were probably going to bring him on into the game and he'd have made an impact, but unfortunately we didn't want to take that risk on the night. But again, the squad is so important from now until the end of the season.
How is he then, ahead of the next one?
Yeah, he's okay. We're going to get him sort of final assessment and see where he is, but nothing concrete as of yet.
Any other little issues that you're having to monitor heading into this one? Any new problems?
No, just general little bangs and bruises from playing games. There's nothing big.
And what about Carlisle as the next test then, just below you in the table? There's a chance for you to open up a bit of a gap there, isn't there, points-wise?
I guess for us it's just going to the next game and making sure we put a performance in and come back and bounce back from the last game, because in our thoughts we deserve to win the game, but we came away from nothing and we controlled large parts, and there was a lot of really positive play that we were impressed with. It just hurts because it was two decisions and two sort of set plays and penalty and a free kick, which probably didn't look like scoring, other than them. So it was harsh to take.
And what has your analysis told you about Carlisle as an outfit?
Yeah, obviously they've dipped in form, but obviously they were up there at the start. They've got some players returning and they're good at what they do and they're full of energy, and I'm sure that they're looking to turn around their latest form, and they'll be working hard to make sure that everything is to put that right.
Good stuff. Cheers, Conor. Thanks, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, Conor.
Hi there.
When you talk about the free kick, is there part of you that wishes that maybe, like the Premiership, you could have VAR at all levels of the game, or is it something you're glad you don't have?
No, it's a good question. I kind of like not having it, to be fair. I think it slows down the game, and a lot of the Premier League managers have spoken about celebrations and teams not being able to celebrate because they're always worried about whether the goal was offside or was maybe a handball in the build up and stuff like that. So I think it's probably when you get decisions against you want VAR, but when you don't get the look and one goes for you, then you maybe not wanting VAR. But for me, I'd say at our level, when it's probably good without it.
Obviously, it's been a topic of conversation quite a lot since Christmas, but the weather isn't looking too good for the weekend. Has that affected your preparation at all?
No, it's not affected us. We've trained today, and we're just concentrating on the game, and hopefully the weather is good to us, unlike it's been for the past few months. So we'll wait and see.
It's a bit of a cliche, but do you think there's a certain amount of truth in the adage that managers, coaches learn more from the team after a defeat than they do if you're on a winning run?
I think there's some truth in it, and I think maybe the big one is potentially winning runs sometimes create maybe laziness or people coming off the boil and people thinking they can maybe win games without really turning up, and I don't think we've shown that, and I don't think that was the case in the last game. But again, I think you can learn from losses definitely in areas to improve. But again, with this group of players and their mindset and their character, they'll be wanting to put this right straight away.
Okay, thanks very much. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, Conor.
Hi there.
You were saying obviously about learning from the loss and the thin margins. I mean, I think 8 of your 10 wins have been by a single goal, so you've sort of been the right side of the ledger each time. But I mean, it probably is the last few games have just reminded you how, probably remind the players how much on a knife edge a lot of these contests are, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's something as the season progresses and you go through it, you will have decisions go against you and you will have decisions go for you, and I think it's kind of balanced its way out in the last game where we've maybe had 2 decisions where on another day they don't happen and we win the game 1-0 and comfortably and play well. So I think it's about us, being 1-0 up at times, but still being able to nick another goal as well. That's the key, and that's how we're looking to build and become better.
And the last 2 games are great reminders of playing to the 95th minute or whatever it takes, isn't it? Because, that split second can change everything, can't it?
Yeah, and we scored the equaliser against Bolton, and that feeling's magical, and then we have the opposite, and actually even worse because they win the game against us in the next game, and this is the part of football everybody goes through it. It's just it's the fine margins of football, like you say.
And we've been talking before about how tight this league is. I mean, Carlisle's record probably sums that up as well as anyone, doesn't it? I mean, they've been on a fantastic run. They were top probably about a month ago, and then they've taken 2 points from 8 games. I mean, it's incredible how fortunes can suddenly change, isn't it?
It is, and Newport were a little bit similar in that vein with their pitch, and probably the Cardiff pitch helped their style of play because they suit that type of football better than on a good pitch. And Carlisle, they'll be working so hard to make sure they overturn this bad run of form. So they've been up there, they've got a lot of threats, they've got good players, they've got players returning, and they'll be wanting to put it right.
And obviously having such a long journey back on the back of that frustration midweek, I mean, there's been quite a lot of time to chew on it, hasn't there? So I think there'll be, in terms of motivation, it's you probably don't have to say much of a team talk for the players, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah,
they drive the standards now. You've got leaders in there who are going to go and make sure people are at it, as well as me and Mark. And I think we're just excited now because we feel like we've been potentially gone against us a little bit too easy with some refereeing decisions and etc. But I don't want to talk about that. But we feel like we've lost a game that we should have won, and now we're eager to put that right and to win the next game.
And as you said about the VAR situation, I mean, it would make it seem a little bit artificial, wouldn't it, in terms of these finishes? I mean, if say the Danny Rowe goal on Saturday, and you'd have to sort of stop and wait 2 minutes for them to check everything, it would have sort of lost the moment a little bit, wouldn't it? Yeah,
and I think what the people love about football, it's the passion and it's those magical feelings, and sometimes take it away with the VAR. When you've scored a last minute winner and then it gets overruled, it's kind of it not ruins it, but it's a strange one, to be fair. So it's new to everyone, but at our level we don't have that, and it helps us when we score winners, and it doesn't help us when we score when we concede in the last minute. So that's how it is.
So you thought, is it necessary evil to perhaps have to put up with the odd I wouldn't say blooper from an official, but an odd soft decision? It might have to, just to keep the game going, in the sense of, rather than stopping everything, waiting for experts to analyse each detail. Yeah. The referees have got to make the decisions in this league, and they've got to stick by them, and they've got to be, they've got to be strong in the way that they do it, and make sure that, and they do what they feel is right, and they don't have the help of VAR to maybe bail them out if they're not quite sure.
Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City!